Medical marijuana use is now legal in 33 states and the District of Columbia, and senior citizens are the country's fastest growing population of new users. One such person, a former police officer living in Arizona, never thought he'd ever give the drug a try, let alone help others learn how to use it. He'll tell you himself how that came about in this story from our colleagues at Arizona Public Media.
You have to understand this medicine in order to fully make use of it. There are two critical principles. Number one is strain selection. You have to have the right strains. And number two is the dosage. So if you don't get these two right, you're either too stoned or you're not cutting the pain or whatever the symptoms are. So there's two puffs, and I'm already feeling the relaxation. So within seconds. Born in Arizona, Safford, moved to Tucson when I was just a little guy. CDO High School, we moved up where I met Dorothy, going to school. I made All-City as a high school football player. Had a pro tryout of the Canadian Football League. Decided by about age 21, I was about as broken as you could imagine. I mean, physically, I was a wreck. I started with the Sheriff's Department in 1978, worked the streets, was with the undercover narcotics team, worked my way from the streets all the way up to assistant chief. And in 1984, I was in a really bad car wreck on duty. Back was hurt really bad, but nobody diagnosed it for 20 years. So I went into my doctor, I said, "Doc, I can't do this anymore." He said, "You're retired." And that was the first time I got a prescription. This is what I took every day of my life just for pain. We came up with a nickname for the guy that took that pile. We called him Morphine Bill. And Morphine Bill was a jerk. I'd be in bed 12 to 14 hours a day and then sit on the couch for the rest of the day eating pills. My boys came down from Washington and they said, "Dad, this has got to stop." I said, "What do I do?" They held up a newspaper and it said, "Medical marijuana. We dare you to research it." And I laughed at them. Do you really picture your dad, an ex-cop, a Mormon boy? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. You really picture me smoking a doobie?
Hi, welcome to Nature Red.
Hi, thank you.
Have you been here before?
Yes.
A few times. Okay. So I set out a research project to prove them wrong. I need a quarter of blueberry kush, okay, and then I need 1 gram of the gold label, but I need heavy, heavy indica. I studied and studied and studied, and the more I learned, the more I realized the problem was not with cannabis, it was with my personal biases. And there's the berry. Just because our society calls it evil for so many years doesn't make it evil. The study shows that it's a very beneficial plant.
When they started talking to me about using marijuana, I said, absolutely not, absolutely not. I mean, why would I tell my children that that was wrong in the 70s, and now I'm going to say it's all right for me now?
A lot of people have an idea that, you do medical marijuana, you walk around like Cheech and Chong. If you do recreational marijuana, you will. But medical marijuana is a different thing, a sustainable long-term treatment plan.
I've been with oxycodone for 30 years, gradually increasing. My primary doctor said, "We've got to get you off of this. She's been trying for several years."
It's hard to understand how bad I was before and how depressed.
She was just balled up on the sofa, hopelessness, just pure hopelessness because of undaunting pain.
I didn't know how to go about doing it, so I was really happy to find out there was such a thing as a coach.
I think she would have quit all on her own.
On the 6th day of April, I started my program with Bill and Dorothy. I had withdrawal like you wouldn't believe, I mean, really bad. And I got through it. It took me a year, but on March 31st of 2018, I took my last oxycodone. I couldn't have done it without the marijuana, And I still forget where I came from. I still have a lot of pain, but nothing like I used to have, nothing like I used to have. And my children and grandchildren are like, wow, Grandma, you look so different than you did last year.
I've slept better than I have in my life. I just sleep like a baby when I use this.
So let's just keep going the way we're doing.
Life has really picked up. A lot more conversation between the two of us, where before when you're in pain, you're just in your world. And so I don't feel as isolated now.
If people ask me today what is the most rewarding thing I've ever done, it's not my police career. It's this. Besides our marriage and our 4 children, it's the most rewarding thing we've ever done.
Nobody's ever shamed us, but sometimes you think, you know, maybe that person isn't as friendly as they were before, maybe. You know, people have their biases, and I can't do anything to control that.
I got 28 grams of flour. I got 280 milliliters of coconut oil.
Our bishop knows, our state president knows, and they're very supportive because they see what good we're doing to educate people and help them to learn how to use this as a medicine.
It is a medicine, and we respect it. In the world that we're talking right now, there is an obvious conflict between federal law and state law.
I don't understand why it cannot be legalized and why you can't get some insurance relief. You know, if it's doing me more good than the oxycodone was doing, I just don't understand why the government feels so strongly about not making it legal.